Pause for a moment and consider this thought. Many of us are having conversations at home we should be having at the office. What do I mean by this? So there is an issue, maybe there's an individual, maybe there's a behavior, maybe there's just some situation that's taking place at the office, and we take it home and we share it with our loved ones and put them under the stress as well. Why don't we think that we have agency to deal with office things in the office? Hi, I'm Trevor E.S. Smith, and I'll be your guide through today's Success with People livecast as we explore the whole issue of developing toxicity free teams. And the way to do that is through recognizing early signs of toxicity. We know that toxicity matters. Yes. We feel it, you know, we feel the tension. We see whether it is directly with us or with others. We are aware that this is taking place. And so, toxicity, as we know, really can be debilitating, can sabotage. I'm aware of a situation even right now where one toxic individual, you know, has really just thrown an entire group of people into, you know, all sorts of frustrations, um, to the point now where senior management has to be involved. And it seems as if this might even escalate into legal issues. This is not something to ignore. It can, in fact, throw off all our efforts to produce high performing teams. And critically, it impacts us. Our health is at risk when we endure toxic environments. And so today we want to look at three, because as usual, we make a commitment to complete these Success with People live class within 30 minutes. 35, at the outside, we might be wrapping up. So if you allow 35 minutes, you'll be good and clear. All right. So let's look at three. Normally, just work with three key points. All right. So the first sign of creeping toxicity is when communication breaks down. And it might not be the obvious things where people um, are throwing chairs and so on. I've had that experience where toxicity got to the point where the chief accountant at a Christmas party is actually throwing chairs and doing things like that. So in a team, we need to have honest, transparent, authentic communication. That's a key pillar, platform on which one can build a high performing team. However, when that is absent, then the whole dynamics is questionable. And so early detection is critical. But I must tell you, it's not as easy as it sounds. Yeah. Because the breakdown in communication is not necessarily, big bang. It's a subtle creeping, you know, activity. These behaviors are sort of creeping unnoticed. You can feel the tension sometimes, but maybe um, many people just ignore it, yeah, or feel that they have no agency with respect to it, or feel this is not their business. Yeah, I will just let it go. Like, it's not in my place. Maybe it is in your place. So, what are some of the signs then of this breakdown of communication? First one is what we call this passive aggressive behavior. A little sarcasm, a little snide remark, etc. Maybe there's no, why. I'm not guilty of anything. It's just, just a little edge. You just pick it up. It's a little edge to the comment, a little, mm, mm, um, and you kind of turn your head. And if, of course, if it comes up again and recurs, then you know that there's something going on. This one actually impacts performance and productivity in the organization, where people actually intentionally hold back information that I need, you know. Or um, if I jump to the fourth one here, there's a mixing of avoidance where I might actually slip, um, you know, a piece of paper with the information while you're not at your desk because I don't want to have face-to-face contact with you. I don't want to have this kind of direct communication. And so I avoid you. If we're dealing with number four here, where we are saying um, we have a group, three of us are speaking, and Trevor comes up, and as soon as Trevor comes up, Antoinette quickly disappears. You just don't play together. And the observant individual, observant team member should pick that up and do something about it. Hey, Antoinette, what's the problem with you and Trevor? That's easy. It doesn't have to be the leader. You can deal with that. That's something that can be done and should be done. Hey guys, what's happening? I notice you guys are avoiding me. What's happening? When you ask me to go and, give this information to John, what's the problem? Why you and John not communicating? That's something that team members can deal with. Just nip, what is it? Cut off the toxicity early in the piece. The other one is, of course, pretty rude, where somebody's speaking to you and you're not really paying them. None of the communication 101 that we know, where you're supposed to be, eye contact and nods and ask questions and, do I understand you to be saying so and so. None of that is taking place. And so also the opposite now, where you're too proactive, where you're interrupting. No, okay, I hear this. I don't want to hear any more of this. Yeah, you cut off people without listening. So those are signs that you can pick up, and if left unattended, those things can lead into high stakes toxicity. So what are some of the solutions? Quickly, one of them is to encourage by your behavior open and honest communication. Yeah, Antoinette, I noticed that there's something, I don't know what I've done, but can we talk about it? Because I seem to have offended you in some way. Just talk. It's not life and death. Just go and deal with the issue. Um, so that's one. And yes, I need to use the technology that works. And I'm telling you that the discerning model, where we understand different behaviors, we use the four quadrant disc framework to communicate, to understand. In my experience, been doing this for a while now, there a lot of conflict arises from a simple misunderstanding of behaviors. So, for example, an individual who has a preference for conscientiousness, a C style, sometimes has a real difficulty relating, functioning effectively with someone who has a preference for influence, the I style. They just, the C style wants peace, quiet. They don't want to have a constant conversation. They want strict compliance. They want you to do this step by step by step along the lines laid out in the policies and procedures. Where the I style wants some creativity, yeah. So there is that. But if we use the model, what we call it our discerning communication model, if we help people to understand the framework and to understand how to communicate from their preferred style with others, it makes a huge difference in terms of the dynamics within the team. How do you give instructions? How do you give feedback? Those are different approaches. It's not one style fits all. And so I'm just suggesting do not underestimate the impact of being able to communicate with someone from their preferred behavioral style. Use the language that they use understand how they think, how they perceive life, how they navigate through life. And if you can get the team to understand, not only to understand, but also to appreciate and to respect these differences, we're going to eliminate a lot of toxicity, a lot of conflict. And of course, you want to be able to create a safe space, yeah, provide psychological safety. And somebody, ideally the team leader, could be a repository for that, which means that you can come and talk to me. Antoinette, you have a problem with Trevor, come and talk to me confidentially about it. I'm not going to run on behind Trevor now to say, you know what, Antoinette, no, I'm a responsible individual who can take on board the challenges that you're having and to see how we can navigate through it. Somebody needs to play that role. Sometimes it might be a lot more direct, where, obviously no, the thing has escalated and it is open and obvious. And so we might need them to broker some kind of a dialogue between the parties. Yeah, come Trevor, let's start and then let's get together and see how we can work this out. Of course, please, no band-aid, try to get to the root cause of all of this. All right. So let's go again now. The next one, this one is cute actually, is the whole question of the aggressive, the micro. So yeah, it's not open, like you would have a D-style individual who would just call a spade and it's done there. Some people find that offensive, but at least it's out, you clear it. You understand that Don speaks like this, you know where Don stands and it's done. Mm. Others who really are pushing the needle, but it's like an innocent. I am my hands are clean. I'm a peacemaker. I'm not like Dan who shouts at people and sometimes pushes the envelope. But there's this little needle. Whether it is a sarcastic remark or some mocking. And of course, it can get worse, where instead of confronting, like Don, you actually go behind the back and, saying so about people. Yeah, the backhanded compliments, those, not meant at all. Those are signs of creeping toxicity. And we can identify them and we can address them. Oh, I'm suggesting that this is not necessarily the role of the team leader. To be honest, sometimes the team leader is the problem. Sometimes the team leader is the problem. Anyways, somebody on the team needs to take on the responsibility of dealing with this. So you have to identify it first, right? And then call it out. Call it out. Yep. I see it. I understand what you're doing. I'm calling it out. So maybe you're not as brave as some people might be. So the first calling out is that we notice that people are behaving in this way. And you describe the behaviors that you see. Yeah? Just generally. And you're saying, it's not healthy. Let's not do that anymore. That doesn't work. Then maybe you need to call the perpetrators one-on-one and say, hey man, what you're doing is not right. It's not healthy for the team. And talk to them one away. You do not have to be the team leader. You can be talking about it as a team member. And if it is the team leader, you can talk to me. Come, Trevor. Let me tell you the truth. Some people might not want to come and talk to you about it. But you see, this behavior, it's not landing well with the team. You see, yeah. Just talk. Okay, so you might have a team leader who is out of control, that's the risk. But something has to be done, otherwise the toxicity will continue and develop and escalate. So that's a suggestion that somebody needs to step up and talk it out. So there should be some open conversation and some willingness to address conflicts directly so that we can foster some kind of atmosphere where at least there's mutual respect and trust. We don't have to love each other, in depth and hug, but at least we should be professional. We should be respectful. Hmm? We need to have a safe space with which we can, within which we can function. All right, I hope this is going somewhere for you. If I am stepping on your corn, I'm sorry. Please don't hold anything against me. No, this is one that I think, if we are true, who we can identify with this one is the toxicity that comes from me. No, 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 that's not true. You know, pushback, push back. That there's absolutely no feedback that you can give me that I'm not going to defend. And say, nah, no, you misunderstand that. No, it's your fault. And by the way, if Mary had given me the information on time, I would be in the state. Why you don't go and talk to Mary? I'm Teflon. I am Teflon. You cannot accuse me of anything like that. Mm. When you create that environment or allow that to continue, what happens is that you develop a situation where there's no accountability. No accountability. People feel free to do whatever it is because why are you picking on me? Why you never talk to John? I see John doing the same things or doing worse than me, and you're not talking to me. Interesting how people can push back and how that pushback actually manifests itself now in creating a toxic environment where there's no accountability, where people can do what they want, where people feel hard done by when you come to them to hold them accountable, when there's rampant absence of accountability across the board. Interesting stuff. So, how do we address? You should do it from the beginning, by the way, so you don't have hardcore resistance. When you get to the place where there's hardcore resistance and lack of accountability, then you have a harder time. But today's session is about early signs. So I would suggest that the leaders, people who are senior in the team, etc., should model the behavior, should be open, should invite. Yeah. And like David in the Bible that says, search me, oh God. That's what you should be. You should be inviting feedback. Am I doing well enough? Tell me, I want to get the information. So far from giving a pushback, I'm inviting you, please help me by pointing this out to me. Any kind of behavior that you find that is not aligned to where we want to go, come and talk to me about it. I want to hear it. Invite it. So that's the first stance, right? And when you are doing that, then of course the others will start to model the same behavior. So again, speak from a position of integrity and be open to feedback. Here's the other piece now, though. When someone else makes a mistake, the way that you treat that mistake, the way you handle it, if it is woe is me and how you're so careless, and look how long we have been trying to tell you how to do this, and did you follow the manual, and do you understand the implications of what? Ooh, the next time I make a mistake, I am going to get shovels to cover it up. I am getting every kind of thing to make sure I'm covering it up because I'm not going back through that storm. What if comfort? So what has happened here is that, as you can see, the desired result was not up. Let us go back through step by step. What did you do? What should you have done? How can we learn from this? Then prompts me to be able to come and say, hey, I'm having a challenge. I want to make a mistake, or I have made a mistake and I want to fix it quickly. Help me, please. In that environment, we start to develop high performing teams. We have a confidence that people will come forward, will learn from mistakes, and will do better going forward. That comes down to how we treat mistakes. Let me give you a scenario. You come into the job and you try to find out what happened to the incumbent, the person who was in the job before. So in the lunchroom, you understand that they made a mistake. They're no longer there. What happened to the one before that? Oh, they also made a mistake. They're no longer there. What is the message, Trevor? Don't make any mistakes. And if you make any mistakes, Trevor, try to find some way to let nobody find that out. Difference in treatment. Difference in treatment. You don't want to drive errors underground. You want to have people bring them up and use them as a learning experience. So, of course, you can preclude errors by the continuous learning, making sure that you are consistently upskilling the staff. That is also another way. So, what are we saying here? We're saying that basically, when we have looked at those three, and there are many other very subtle ways in which toxicity creeps in. But if we can identify these, at least look for the early signs and take action to address them, we have a good chance of creating and developing toxic-free teams. And of course, that then adds to the bottom line. So, what are we saying here? Toxicity can be debilitating. It impacts our performance, it brings stress, it distracts us. We know it, we feel it, but yet still we tolerate it. What is it? Why do we feel as if we do not have agency? Why do we go home and burden our families with the toxic stuff from the office? As a matter of fact, in many instances, we even have code names for the individual. So people are there at the edge of the seat almost, waiting for the next installment. Oh, come on. We can deal with the office things at the office. We have agency. Let us pick up so that we no longer have to suffer or endure toxic behavior. Key though is to snip it early, cut it off as you see it coming up. So my invitation today, my little rant. Maybe I said, Neil, the toxic man. Look at how he's talking so emphatically. Why is he not so? Why is he not calm? Why is he, accusing me? I am not the one that's toxic. Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize. So, but make a commitment, please. Make a commitment where you identify toxic behavior as it starts to um, creep in, and address it immediately. So don't suffer in silence anymore at work. And don't absolutely stop burdening your family. Please, you know, let's have some fun at home. Don't bring the office home. And, you know, I believe that we have presented you with some solutions here. So you can just have a quick scan back through this rant and see if you can find some solutions. Right? And this is not just for leaders, as I've been trying to say. We have a collective responsibility to cauterize this cancer, right? So that we can have more peaceful life. Your next steps, usually I want to encourage you to be intentional about what it is that we have discussed. So address this whole issue of toxicity. And again, because this involves your colleagues and so on, I would suggest that you share this very link. That is one way you can deal with it. Is just share this link with your colleagues and set up a discussion. So if you're afraid of your team leader, here, by the way, here's a link. Interesting subject. Let's have a team meeting around it. That's it. And if you want to access similar content, like all the live casts, we have a YouTube channel. It's Success with People Academy. And if you want, you can remember the number as well is 5735. But if you just search on YouTube for Success with People Academy, you will be able to see a series of these live casts. And as usual, I would love to have a conversation. No commitments. Just let's start. Let us see um, if you have issues or what it is that we can do for you. All right. So just send me an email, info@successwithpeople.org, or make it simpler. Send me a WhatsApp message, 876-535-6677. And who are we? We are part of the InfoServe group. We are Success with People Academy, which is our brand. And we deploy our discerning model of communication. We have done a lot of work using the DISC framework to create tons of content. Books even. So if you want to have some literature that we have done, you can actually just send us maybe an email again. Just say send books. I don't want to spend the time now telling you what they are, but we have literature that in high demand that we are creating around this concept of the discerning model of communication and leadership. And we also have our REAL leadership framework that we use. But critically as well, we are franchise holders for behavioral DNA assessments from Extended Disc and the Revolutionary Things platform. Give me a shout and let's talk. Let's talk. Seriously, let's talk. That's it. Out within 30 minutes today. But I really want to emphasize that the toxicity has implications not only for performance, but for your health, for your health. And please stop bringing the toxicity home to impact the health of your loved ones. Take agency. Do something about it in the workplace. Have those conversations. Identify early. Bring together Antoinette and Trevor and say, hey, what's happening, guys? Stop letting the snide remarks and so on just go by. Do something about it. It's injurious to your health. It's injurious to performance. It's injurious to productivity. What's the point? Thank you. I'm Trevor E. Smith with the Success with People Academy. It's about talk. Appreciate it.